apparently I have become the latest topic of emotional abuse or whatever it is. And a recent video that we made, one of our first videos back, and we talked about the Hilary Crowder and the Steven Crowder thing. I'm joined here with my wife, Isabella.
Hi.
And we're going to discuss the controversy that has come about from this. So I think it started when we covered this video. We didn't even really cover it, but we briefly talked about this, what had happened here with Hilary Crowder and with Steven Crowder. Let's watch.
What do you need me to pick up? I'll get it. I'll be back when I'm back.
No, that doesn't work either. You'll be back when you're back. That doesn't work either. Do you understand the difference between my life being set to the second and you going, I'll be back when I'm back?
Steven.
You're making it work. Can you do that? The only way out of this is discipline and respect. It's the only way out of it, or we're at an impasse.
We are at an impasse.
Good. Because you can't have any discipline or respect.
Steven.
There you go. You throw your hand, you give up so easily.
I don't give up, Steven.
Hilary,
Steven?
you give up so easily.
I
just said the only way out of this is discipline and respect. You said, then we're at an impasse.
Steven, no, we are at an impasse, okay? I love you, but Steven, your abuse is sick. Your abuse
Watch it.
is sick.
Watch it. Fucking watch it.
I'm gonna let go. I'll get what you need me to get. And I need some space. We need to just stop engaging for a little bit, okay? I love you. I love you very much.
I don't love you. That's the big problem. I've never received love from you. And the fact is, when I go, look, I need you to do A, B, C, and D, you just be disciplined about it. You go, no. But I love you more than life itself. Okay. Put on some gloves. No. But I love you more than life itself. That's not fair. That's not fair, and it's disingenuous. Hilary, you're right. We're at an impasse. Become someone, listen to me, day in and day out, worthy of a wife, no, not as a wife. I didn't say as a wife. Hilary, come on now.
I'm not going to engage. I'm not going to engage anymore.
Do you remember what had happened was you were saying, I have no respect for her because she can't put on gloves. She can't do what she's supposed to do. And I told you, I said, it's not entirely fair because she could also be walking in a state of sin, of unsubmission, just like Steven Crowder is walking in a state of sin whenever he's not loving his wife like Christ loved the church. Mm-hmm. They both are at this impasse, or however you say it, because they're both sinful. They're both in these states of sin.
Right, yeah. Exactly. And you explained that to me, and it kind of took you a couple times for me to understand what you were saying, and the example of how Peter betrayed Jesus and 3 times and Jesus still loved him and still died for him. That made sense to me 100%. Watching this clip and rewatching it makes me just think, I see, based on the clip, Steven's frustration where it's like Hilary will say, oh, I love you so much. I love you more than life itself. But it's like, well, how can you show your husband love is by submitting to him, doing these things, and where it doesn't justify Steven saying, I don't love you, I think it does warrant some frustration on Steven's part.
I think it makes sense for Steven Crowder to be frustrated, to act out of anger, and to say mean things.
Right.
Because that is what men tend to do.
Right.
And that happens.
And Steven, he is human. He is not Jesus. But we still have these ideals and goals to strive to be. Exactly.
And so me also being sinful and being aware of my sin in my life and anger, I've had issues of anger for forever. I can relate to Steven here because there are times where you get into a disagreement with somebody, with your wife, and you say mean things. I do this. I've done this throughout my life several times. And what really helped me is whenever I learned to shut up. When I learned and read Proverbs and read, in the multitude of words, sin is not lacking, but he who restrains his lips is wise. It's better sometimes to just be quiet. So Right Wing Watch grabs a 35-second clip, in which case Isabella asks, what would you do in this situation?
Brace yourselves. It's very emotionally abusive.
Triggering. Yeah, this is triggering. I wouldn't have let you walk out until my point was conveyed that you do what you're supposed to do, whatever I tell you to do, because that's your job, is to submit, do it with a smile on your face. I don't care. And I wouldn't have let you leave. I would have, you would have had to eat whatever mean things I would have said. And then the job would have got done. And then afterwards, after the cooling down process, I would have, repented to God and smoothed things over with you for the sinful behavior. That's how things would have went down. So that's okay whenever your boss tells you, get the job done or else you're fired. It's okay when corporations do this. It's okay to leverage your power and this form of financial abuse that these women would probably claim. That's perfectly fine in the corporate sense. But as soon as you leverage that power in a marriage, that's wrong. Explain to me how that works.
Well, sorry, I just need a second because watching that was just bringing up past trauma. So I'm trying to process that and trying not to cry on camera about it. But you bring up a really good point. How come women are so okay with their male bosses telling them what to do, ordering them around, blah, 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 because they get a paycheck? How come it's okay for you to submit to your boss? Why don't you grant your husband the same submission, the same respect?
Well, and men have to deal with this too. So men grow up and understand that this is how it works. And when you remove religion, when you remove the Bible, when you put things on a secular sense, men understand power from those in power. And a lot of times that might be your boss. That might be your teacher. That might be, and what happens is that men understand power through leverage. If you don't sit down and shut your mouth in the classroom, then you're going to go to the principal's office and you're going to get suspended for being disrespectful. If you don't do your job by this time and get it done right away, then you're fired and you're not going to make money anymore and you're out on your ass. And they threaten your livelihood. They threaten, this is how it works. This is how it's always worked. This is what happens. And in a marriage, this is actually sinful. This is not supposed to happen in the marriage. However, when it does happen, and it inevitably will happen, you're supposed to just concede and throw in the towel and you're over and it's done. And the kids have separated families and you have to lose a portion of your income and you have to, that's what we're talking about here.
Right.
Oh, but we can't normalize it whenever it comes to marriage because that's emotional abuse. So this tweet right here is what popped up. Hilary Crowder responds, the divorcee, who I also defended, says, this is not the way. God's design for marriage is not for a spouse to be subjected to constant humiliation and degradation.
Just hearing that tweet from her and hearing you talk just now, I'm thinking back to that video. I deserved to be humiliated and degraded. I was making stupid points, and Hilary in her tweet says you can see it.
We'll get there.
Okay.
Yeah, so
getting ahead of myself here.
Humiliation and degradation. What does it say as Christians we're supposed to be striving to be Christ-like? And what does it say in Hebrews that Christ humbled himself and became obedient to the point of death, even the death of the cross? Christ was literally humiliated. Our God was humiliated because he died on a cross, a sinner's death. In Isaiah 53, it says, with the death of the wicked. People who were hung on a cross were bad people, and Jesus was humiliated and degraded, and he died on a cross. It is not loving your husband well to sit there and eat whatever verbal insults he hurls at you. Thank you for validating what I literally said, that this was sin and that it wasn't love.
Yeah.
This is why everybody thinks you're a feminist, because you fall into the BS of Right-Wing Watch and their liberal propaganda, and you use it to create infighting within the right. And this is why people like Pearl, Rachel Wilson, Isabella, me, I literally had your back, defended her.
More than I did. I was the one that was giving her no
And
benefit of the doubt.
I brought you into correction on a video. What does she have to say? Isabella's comments make so much more sense now, and I can read the discomfort on her face as her husband speaks. Why are you uncomfortable, Isabella?
In that video, I was uncomfortable because I made a stupid point and I was failing to get where Josiah was coming from. So I was kind of sitting there like, damn, I just looked really stupid and I'm kind of
On
embarrassed.
on our first video back.
On our first video back, like
And
I was
you-
just literally embarrassed. She's now like, she's like, I had emotional abuse, and now she's claiming that in our marriage, based off a 36-second clip from Right Wing Watch, I'm experiencing constant emotional abuse. Dear Hilary, I'm actually not. I'm actually learning to be a better wife, and I'm very happy, and I've never been happier in my entire life as his wife and as the mother of his baby girl. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you for your sincere
yeah.
concern and your hearts on your tweets. I really appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to that part. So then she drops this book and she says, oh yeah, this is the only Christian conservative who's really talking about emotional abuse or whatever.
And it's written by a woman, right, Leslie? Shocker.
And the first tweet that you put up was, I find it hilarious that you're taking the bait of Right Wing Watch. You see 30 seconds of liberal propaganda and you got it all figured out. My husband called out Crowder, saying almost exactly what you're saying. Men who are sinning still need to maintain their masculinity. They don't sin and then have to submit to their wives. Not really interested in listening to divorced, lonely, miserable women like Hilary Crowder tell me about how I should feel about my husband. Certainly not after they've seen 30 seconds of the 20-minute conversation. The husbandless at Hilary Crowder is trying to make me believe I'm a victim and put me against my husband. The points she's making are ones that my husband already made. Misery loves company.
Hey, it's rare that you're the one that's called the abuser in this relationship. Usually I'm the one that's always ridiculed and hated online and some crazy domineering psycho Gestapo wife or something. I'm finally the victim. Thank you, Hilary Crowder, for
you
making
finally
me
get
the
some
victim.
points.
It's about damn time.
And your last response and final response was, I'll happily eat mean words to have the pleasure of being by my husband for the rest of my life. My husband will sin, I will sin, he forgives me, and I forgive him. You miserable women should take notes instead of reading books that validate your bullshit.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself, except I did say that. So amazing. And yeah, it's confirmation bias. It's not shocking that that book was written by a woman. You're seeking out validation for how you already feel. And here's how it's Christian. I'm proving this is the only Christian writer who gets it right. Well, maybe because it's not right.
Hilary Crowder responded to the post, I'm sorry that you took my post that way.
I mean, it's just the passive aggressive rebuttal of a woman. Shocker.
A healthy, lifelong marriage with mutual love, respect, and of course forgiveness is one of the greatest blessings any human can ever have. I don't wish for you or anyone to experience the grief of a life where that is not the case. White heart.
Okay, so this is a pet peeve I've always had with women, is when they're clearly like coming at, not that she's coming after me hostilely, like I don't think that was like a vicious response at all, but it's, you can tell it's passive aggressive. It's like when a girl insults you and she's like, hun, sweetie, heart. It's like, okay, let's stop pretending that we're like girlfriends here. I don't know. It seems very fake mean girl. Pearl's the bad guy. We're the bad guys because we're blatantly mean or blunt on social media, but they're the good ones that say, bless your heart, we're praying for you, white heart, blah, blah, blah.
And so a little bonus segment right here is Right Wing Watch also posted another playful clip. What
How
are
do
you
you
saying?
How do you respect a man who's going to go cry on stage about you?
He didn't cry. His voice cracked. He was getting emotional.
Okay, maybe
If
I'm
that
being
was
too
me,
harsh.
that means you cheat on me?
No.
That means you're cheating?
No.
Shut up. You're so
He just-
stupid.
I'm
That
saying he
is
seems-
ridiculous.
he seems
No,
soft.
quiet. Thank you.
The emotional abuse. I mean, can't you guys tell? We're literally being playful. That's our relationship. It's fun. We can laugh at each other. It's fun. I love it. I love the dynamic you and me have together. And also, crap, what was I about to say?
You're a monster, Josiah. You're a freaking monster. And that's our clip. Like, our editors grabbed that clip and we gave it the final stamp of approval to post.
Yeah, I thought it was great.
So I hope we addressed the rumors here, the blatant smear campaign on me, on my family, on my leadership, and my structure. And guess what I have to say to all of these people? Fuck off.
Literally.